Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching our video today. In today's video, we're going to be talking about sound, and we're going to be talking specifically about how sound travels and what sound is. So when we first think about sound, it's really important to think that we are completely surrounded by air molecules, okay? They're all around us all the time and they're always moving around. Now, when we think about sound, a lot of people think that when you talk and you generate the sound, you generate it on one plane, so one level. But I don't want you to think like that. I want you to think of sound like an explosion, okay? So I want you to think of rapidly moving air, expanding out, because it's going to make it a bit easier to understand the next bit. Now, when we talk about this sort of rapidly moving air, I want you to think about a balloon filled with air, okay? And we're going to pop this balloon. Now, before we pop it, all the air molecules around the outside of that balloon are all moving very slowly around. But as soon as we pop that balloon, all the air that's contained inside rushes out in one big movement, bumping into all the air molecules around it, and it moves in every direction as well. So what we get is all the air rushing out of the balloon, squishes into the air in front of it, nudging that forwards into the next air molecule. So what you get is this squishing together, moving forwards, and then returning back to its normal position, all right? And that's carried over and over and over again until it reaches your ear or a microphone or whatever is picking up that sound. So when we talk about this movement, imagine my voice. So if I stand sideways on, when I generate the sound, when I project my voice, what's happening is my voice box is vibrating the air, and those vibrations are coming out of my mouth and bumping into the air in front of me. And what's happening then is that vibration is passed forward through the air molecules until it reaches your ear. Now, when it does reach your ear, you've got a perfect funnel on the outside of your head, which is your pinna. So that the outer part of the ear, the pinna here, the actual ear that we know ourselves here, what happens with that, it captures all those vibrations and channels them all down into the ear canal. Then that pressure wave, that movement of air, passes down the ear canal all the way down until it reaches the flexible membrane at the end, which we know is the eardrum. And as these pressure waves are hitting the eardrum, it causes the eardrum itself to vibrate, passing that through to the inner part of the ear, which is where we interpret that as sound. Now, when we talk about sound, we also talk about pitch and we talk about the loudness, so the amplitude of the sound. So when we think about sound, most people have been used to seeing what they call a sound wave, a sinusoidal wave, which is this very wobbly line that goes up and down. Now, what that means in relation to what I've just explained, you can see on the sound wave that you have these peaks and you also have the troughs. Now, the peak is where the sound molecules, the air molecules are squished together. Now, that's known as condensation, when they squish together. Now, as those molecules then move apart, that's when you get the trough. So that's called rarefaction. So we get condensation, the up peak, and rarefaction, the downward trough, all right? So when you talk about a peak going into a trough and returning back to a center line again, that's known as one cycle, okay? Now, when we talk about pitch or frequency, we're talking about how many of those cycles happen per second. The lower the number, then the lower the frequency. The higher the number, the higher the frequency. So when we talk about pitches in relation to hertz, hertz refers to how many cycles per second. So we talk about a sound that's 20 hertz, that's happening at 20 times a second, or a sound that happens at 20 kilohertz, that's 20,000 times a second. It's that air molecule is vibrating. Now, when we also look at this sound wave, we talk about the height of the peaks and troughs. Now, that's known as the amplitude. So hertz tells you how many times it vibrates the air, and amplitude tells you how hard that vibration happens, or how much vibration happens, which talks about the loudness of the sound. So when we talk about a decibel level, we're actually talking about how much amplitude we're getting to this sound wave. So we obviously measure our hearing in decibels. The average person would be sort of 0 decibels. You can go all the way up to 120 decibels. So the higher the number, the louder the sound is. So when we talk about these things, what to take away from this is when we talk about frequency, we're talking about that it's measured in hertz. That's how many peaks and troughs we get per second. The higher the number, the higher the pitch. The lower the number, the lower the pitch. When we talk about the loudness of sound or the amplitude of sound, we're talking about it, how high that vibration, or how big that vibration is, so how much the air moves in front of us, and that's measured in decibels. Well, guys, I hope you followed me all the way through that. You didn't get too bored in that one. We wanted to do this video because you guys have already suggested some topics for these types of videos, and we're going to be covering those over the next couple of weeks. So I wanted to give you a good grounding about what sound is, because it'll make it easier for the videos coming up. If you have got any ideas, please post them in the comment section below. I love reading them, and I'm always up for a bit of inspiration. So if you guys can give me any ideas about videos you want to see in relation to audiology and sound, pop them into that comment section below. As always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and I'll see you for the next video.